Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on Akashvani. This is Saira Mujtaba, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says regulators must take appropriate and timely action to mitigate vulnerability and strengthen financial stability. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurates Indian Air Force Heritage Centre in Chandigarh, says centre will motivate youth to imbibe values of armed forces. Delegates from different countries arrive in Goa for third Development Working Group meeting of G20. US President Joe Biden renews call for national assault weapons ban and other gun control measures. Low pressure area over southeast Bay of Bengal and adjoining South Andaman Sea likely to intensify into a cyclone by Wednesday. And in IPL cricket, match underway between Kolkata Knight Riders and Punjab Kings in Kolkata. And now the news in detail. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chaired the 27th Financial Stability and Development Council FSDC meeting in New Delhi on Monday. The meeting was held in the presence of Ministers of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary and Dr. Bhagwat Karad. RBI Governor, Finance Secretary, Chief Economic Advisor and other senior officials were also present in the meeting. During the meeting of the Council, it was discussed that the policy and legislative reform measures required to further develop the financial sector may be formulated and implemented expeditiously to not only increase the financial access of the people, but also increase their overall economic well-being. Ms. Sitharaman advised that regulators should maintain a constant vigil as ensuring financial sector stability is a shared responsibility of the regulators. She said regulators must take appropriate and timely action to mitigate any vulnerability and strengthen financial stability. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the Indian Air Force IAF Heritage Centre in Chandigarh on Monday. The centre, an embodiment of IAF's rich history and legacy, houses a collection of artifacts, murals and 3D dioramas showcasing the evolution of the force since its inception. It displays the heroic deeds of the IAF and the country's technological progress in aircraft and equipment. In his address after the inauguration, Mr. Singh termed the Heritage Centre as a testament to the courage and dedication of all those who have served in the IAF, a tribute to their sacrifice and a reminder of their invaluable contribution in protecting the nation. He recalled the contribution of the force in the 1948 war, 1961, 1962, 1965, 1971 and the Kargil wars, which showcased the force's strength, commitment and professionalism.
1971 के संग्राम का भी यही आधार रहा था। इस युद्ध की अचीवमेंट्स और लर्निंग्स आगे के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में भी हमारा मार्गदर्शन इसने किया है और हमने कारगिल के बार में अपनी जीत का परचम शानदार तरीके से हमने लहराया है, यह किसी से छिपा नहीं है। और आज इंडियन एयरफोर्स हेरिटेज सेंटर का उद्घाटन हुआ है। मानो हम अपने रिस्पांस और रेडीनेस की उन्हीं प्रतिबद्धताओं को फिर से दोहरा रहे हों, ऐसा मुझे रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते प्रतीत हो रहा था।
In the 1971 war, Rajnath Singh stated that the joint manship, integration and commitment showcased by the three services during the war was unprecedented and extraordinary. He said the war was not fought for any land or power, but for humanity and democracy. The Defence Minister further asserted that the centre will serve as a source of inspiration for future generations. The Heritage Centre has several attractions such as aircraft models, aero engines and weapons, including Ryazhev Shipunov twin-barreled guns. Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary said that it showcases augmented reality, hologram, virtual reality, and electromechanical enclosures and interactive kiosks highlighting various facets of the Indian Air Force.
It's a proud moment for us. I must really profusely thank the UT of Chandigarh for deciding to hand this over to the Indian Air Force. So this old heritage building has been converted into the Indian Air Force Heritage Centre, and I'm sure it will draw a lot of young youth to join the Air Force once they visit this. We have first unveiled the NAT at the Chowra, at the Chowk. This is the MiG-21 Type 96 standing outside here behind you. Rear yard we have the MiG-23 MS and the HPT-32.
Delegates from different countries across the globe have arrived in the Indian state of Goa for the Fair Development Working Group meeting of G20. The meeting is scheduled from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 in Goa. India currently holds the presidency of the G20. G20 is an intergovernmental forum of the world's 20 major developed and developing economies. The meeting in Goa has begun on Monday with a side event on women-led development. Panel discussions resulted in the opinion that achieving gender equality and women-led development requires full participation of women in economic, social, cultural and political decision-making. In a welcome address, Nagaraja Naidu, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, emphasized the need to build generational equality and said, "We must unlock women's full potential through a women-led development approach." The event was organized by the G20 Secretariat in partnership with the Observer Research Foundation, ORF. The meeting of the Third Energy Transition Working Group of G20 will be held in Mumbai from the 15th to the 17th of May. State Chief Secretary Manoj Shaunik reviewed the preparation for the upcoming event on Monday. Addressing the review meeting, the Chief Secretary said that necessary service facilities should be made available to the delegates coming for the G20 meetings. He added that concerned departments should appoint coordination officers and they should be given necessary training. He suggested that the concerned departments should take action on the issues raised by them. Union Energy Secretary Alok Kumar participated in the review meeting through video conferencing from New Delhi. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on G20 Third Development Working Group meeting.
The beach capital of India, Goa, is hosting the delegates of the Third Development Working Group from the 8th to the 11th of May 2023. The meeting is to serve as a platform to discuss relevant topics from technology to women's empowerment. The Third Development Working Group meeting began with a side event on women-led development, which is a key priority for India's presidency. Achieving gender equality and women-led development requires full participation of women in economic, social, cultural and political decision-making. Highlighting this view, the panel on women and economy explored the impact of digital transformation, upskilling and reskilling on gender equality. The panel addressed the ways to ensure equal access to STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics subjects and digital skills education. It also addressed the ways to solve the double burden of care and work on women and the future of jobs. It was at the G20 Toronto Summit in 2010 that the leaders agreed to establish the G20 Development Working Group DWG with a mandate to lead the implementation of the group's development agenda. The Development Working Group focuses on narrowing the development gap and reducing poverty as integral to the G20 broader objective of achieving strong, sustainable and balanced growth and ensuring a more robust and resilient global economy for all. The first meeting of the Development Working Group under India's G20 presidency was held in Mumbai from the 13th to the 15th of December 2022. The three-day Development Working Group meeting focused on G20 collective actions for accelerating progress on the Sustainable Development Goals and support to developing countries in dealing with immediate concerns relating to food, fuel and fertilizer security. The first day of the meeting witnessed two side events on data for development, role of G20 in advancing the 2030 agenda and infusing new life into green development. Country interventions focused on the need for quality data, the need for data with trust, the role of the private sector and civil society, steps needed to bridge the digital divide, capacity building in developing nations, and aligning the work of the Development Working Group with that of the Digital Economy Working Group. Drawing from India's ancient sustainable traditions, Lifestyle for Environment or LIFE is a bold transformative approach to sustainable living that proposes global shifts in both consumption and production patterns. The proposal also ties closely with the theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam or One Earth, One Family, One Future, which highlights the interconnectedness of all life forms and places equitable responsibility for this shared planet on on all that inhabit it. The second meeting of the G20 Development Working Group was convened from 6th to 9th April 2022 against the backdrop of the tranquil backwaters of Kumarakom in the district of Kottayam, Kerala. Over 80 delegates from G20 members, 9 invitee countries, and various international and regional organizations attended the meeting. The delegates highlighted the importance of digital technologies for the 2030 agenda and the need for digital transformation for social development through bridging the digital divide. The session focused on transformative transitions through data for development. Presentations were made by experts from the International Telecommunication Union, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and the UN Office of the Special Envoy on Technology. Another session on transformative transitions focused on the role that women can play as active members of society and as decision makers in accelerating the achievement of the 2030 agenda. The delegates emphasized the need for women's empowerment and placing women's leadership at the center for development. The session on just green development highlighted the need to balance green transitions with social and development dimensions as the world moves towards a low-carbon future. Delegates discussed the need for adaptive, proactive and responsive actions on various means of implementation and also on the collective efforts needed for promoting green transitions that are globally just. The G20 Action Plan on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development specifically indicated the Development Working Group as the coordinating body and policy resource for sustainable development. The third Development Working Group will deliberate on the developmental agenda, which is taking prominence and center stage during India's G20 presidency, especially in the wake of the ongoing crises at the global level, deepening inequalities and accentuating environmental and climate risks.
In some more news, campaigning for assembly elections in Karnataka ended this evening. Voting will take place on Wednesday. The 48-hour silent period started at 6 p.m. on Monday for the May 10 assembly elections. Under the Representation of the People Act, prohibitions have been imposed on displaying or broadcasting any election promotions that may influence the voters on television, radio, web portal and newspaper. There is also prohibition on exit polls and dissemination of their results. India's Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Anurag Singh Thakur, has criticized those opposing the film Kerala Story. Talking to reporters in New Delhi, Mr. Thakur alleged that the opposition parties are opposing the film due to their vote bank and appeasement politics. He said the West Bengal government has done complete injustice by banning the film in the state. He said people who are opposing this film are indirectly supporting the agenda of ISIS and other terrorist organizations.
नहीं कहूंगा कि तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति का ये खेल, वोट बैंक की राजनीति का खेल भारत की कई बेटियों की जिंदगी बर्बाद कर रहा है। आपको अपनी वोट बैंक की राजनीति से बाहर आना चाहिए। मैं अपने कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्ट मित्रों से कहना चाहता हूं, सच्चाई को ना आप कोर्ट जाकर रोक पाएंगे, ना आप इस फिल्म को झूठ बताकर रोक पाएंगे। हम सबका प्रयास ये होना चाहिए कि जिन बेटियों के साथ आज तक ही हुआ है, कोई उनमें से कुछ ने हिम्मत करके आगे आकर अपनी स्टोरी को बताया, जिसको फिल्म के माध्यम से दिखाया गया।
In Punjab, 2 blasts were reported on a heritage street near Golden Temple in Amritsar on Saturday night and another one around 6 a.m. on Monday. As per the Punjab police, no casualties were reported, but a person was injured and a car windshield was broken. The police have cordoned off the area to investigate the incident. Punjab Director General of Police Gaurav Yadav reached the blast spot and said, as per the preliminary investigation, they were low-intensity blasts. He said no detonator or triggering mechanism has been found from the spot, which indicates that the explosives used for the blast were kept inside a container. This is Akashvani giving you the world news. Welcome back. You're listening to World News. US President Joe Biden has renewed his call for a national assault weapons ban and other gun control measures a day after 8 people were murdered at a Texas shopping mall in the latest mass shooting to shake the nation. Responders, distressed witnesses and police described scenes of panic and horror in the north of Dallas, where video footage circulating online showed the shooter exiting a sedan in an outlet mall parking lot on Saturday and firing with a semi-automatic rifle on people walking nearby. Police said an officer on an unrelated call nearby quickly responded and neutralized the shooter at the large facility in Allen. Syria is back in the Arab League more than a decade after being thrown out for its brutal repression of pro-democracy protests, which led to the ongoing civil war. In a statement, Syria's foreign ministry said it had received the League's decision with great attention and called for greater Arab cooperation and partnership. The move is further evidence of a thaw in relations between Damascus and other Arab governments. Foreign ministers from 13 of the 22 nation group's members were present at the meeting in Cairo on Sunday, where the decision to readmit Syria was taken. They stressed on the need to end Syria's civil war and the resulting refugee and drug smuggling crisis. The US and UK have criticized the move. A State Department spokesperson said Syria did not deserve to be reinstated, but that the US supported the Arab League's long-term objective of solving the crisis in Syria. The Arab League Council issued a resolution on Sunday to form an Arab ministerial contact group to communicate with the Sudanese parties and influential countries, aiming to reach a settlement of the crisis in Sudan. The resolution, made during the Council's emergency meeting in the Egyptian capital of Cairo, is meant to intensify Arab efforts to find a peaceful solution to the current conflict between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces or RSF that erupted in mid-April. Under the resolution, the contact group would include representatives from Saudi Arabia, Egypt and the Arab League, according to an Arab League statement. The committee aims to reach a complete and sustainable ceasefire in Sudan and address the causes of the crisis. It will further coordinate with international relief organizations to provide urgent humanitarian and medical support to citizens and displaced persons inside Sudan. The Kerala government has ordered a judicial inquiry into Sunday's boat tragedy near Tannur in Malappuram district, which claimed 22 lives, including several women and children. Speaking to media persons after a meeting with his cabinet colleagues at Tannur, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan announced an ex gratia of 10 lakh rupees each to the kin of those killed in the mishap. The Chief Minister said the state government will bear the expense of all those who are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah have expressed sadness on the loss of lives due to the boat mishap. Mr. Modi also announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund to the next of kin of each deceased. The annual investment meeting organized by the AIM Foundation kicked off on the 8th of May 2023 at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Centre, UAE. Under the theme, The Investment Paradigm Shift, Future Investment Opportunities to Foster Sustainable Economic Growth, Diversity and Prosperity, the event is aimed at empowering the global economy by promoting effective investment strategies and facilitating opportunities for economic productivity and expansion. During the event's first day, the Kerala Pavilion was inaugurated by Secretary Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Rajesh Kumar Singh, in the presence of Indian Ambassador to UAE, Sanjay Sudhir, Lulu Group Chairman M.A. Yusuf Ali, and K.S. Srinivas, Principal Secretary Tourism, Government of Kerala. The pavilion showcased investment opportunities in Kerala as an investment destination, and the Kerala Startup Mission brought 8 startups for business-to-business and seed funding activities. India led as the top source market for Sri Lanka's tourism sector for the month of April 2023. India regained the top spot after 6 months as almost 20,000 Indian tourists arrived in the island nation last month. Sri Lanka's Tourism Authority figures showed that 19,915 Indians had visited the island in April, over 14,656 Russian tourist arrivals. Russians remained the top inbound market from October 2022 to March this year. Tourist arrivals from India in 2022 stood at 1.23 lakhs with a share of 17.1%. The cyclonic circulation, which developed 2 days back over the southeast Bay of Bengal, will continue to move and intensify gradually into a cyclonic storm by Wednesday. A low-pressure area has formed over the southeast Bay of Bengal and adjoining South Andaman Sea on Monday and is likely to intensify into a depression on Tuesday over the same region. Director General of India Meteorological Department, Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra, told media in New Delhi that a cyclonic storm will move towards the central part of the Bay of Bengal, and by the 12th of May morning it will be over the central part of East Central Bay of Bengal. He said it is expected that it will become a very severe cyclonic storm over the central Bay of Bengal, and it will change its path from the 12th of May onwards. The IMD has advised the fishermen, small ships, boats and trawlers not to venture into the southeast Bay of Bengal and adjoining areas of Andaman Sea from Monday onwards, as well as into southeast and adjoining central Bay of Bengal and Andaman Sea from Tuesday onwards. Those who are over the southeast Bay of Bengal and adjoining South Andaman Sea are also advised to return to safer places by Monday, and those over the East Central Bay of Bengal and North Andaman Sea are advised to return by Tuesday. The key domestic indices today logged gains of more than 1%. The index of the top 30 companies on the Bombay Stock Exchange, Sensex, closed above the 61,700 mark, while the Nifty, the index of the top 50 companies at the National Stock Exchange, settled over the 18,250 level. Both benchmark indices rose amid mixed global cues. A report.
The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange surged 710 points or 1.16% to end at 61,764. Nifty at the National Stock climbed 195 points or 1.08% to settle at 18,264. The Asian market ended mixed. China's Shanghai Composite Index surged 1.8%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng gained 1.2%, and South Korea's Kospi Index rose 0.5%. However, Japan's Nikkei 225 declined 0.7%, and Singapore's Straits Times Index fell 0.3%. European markets were trading in positive territory in intraday trade. Oil prices rose as U.S. recession fears eased, and investors assessed conflicting signals for crude demand after a period of volatile trading. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $77.15 per barrel. Coal prices at Multi-Commodity Exchange for June contracts were trading at 60,880 rupees per 10 gram. Silver was trading at around 77,135 rupees per kilogram for July contracts, and at the forex market, the rupee closed at 81 rupees and 80 paise against the US dollar. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for World News, Akashvani.
On to sports now. In IPL cricket, chasing a target of 180 runs set by Punjab Kings, Kolkata Knight Riders were 117 for 3 in 14.1 overs at Eden Gardens in Kolkata when reports last came in. Electing to bat first, Punjab Kings scored 179 for 7 in the stipulated 20 overs. On Sunday, Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Rajasthan Royals by 4 wickets at Savai Man Singh Stadium in Jaipur, while Gujarat Titans defeated Lucknow Super Giants by 56 runs in Ahmedabad. In weightlifting, Indian weightlifters finished the Asian Weightlifting Championships 2023 in Jeonju, South Korea with 3 silver medals. On Monday, Ajit Narayana and Achint Shirley were the only 2 Indian weightlifters competing in the men's 73 kg category. However, the duo failed to add to India's medals tally. Ajit Narayana was competing in his first international weightlifting event, topped Group B with a combined lift of 307 kg. Commonwealth Games 2022 gold medalist Achint Shirley, meanwhile, finished second in Group B with a total lift of 305 kg. The Asian Weightlifting Championships 2023 will run till May the 13th, but India doesn't have any representation in any of the remaining categories. World number 2 Carlos Alcaraz defended his Madrid Open title with a hard-fought 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 win over Jan-Lennard Struff on Sunday. The 20-year-old Spanish was given a tricky time by his German opponent, but eventually became the youngest player since Rafael Nadal in 2006 to defend an ATP Masters 1000 title. And now let's take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Guardian writes, former Minister Lord Hine urges United Kingdom to back International Anti-Corruption Court. The Globe and Mail reports, Republican threatens contempt charge for Blinken over Afghanistan documents. The Wall Street Journal writes, President Biden is crafting a new system designed to limit the waves of asylum seekers at the southern border. The Financial Times reports political calculus complicates path to U.S. debt ceiling deal. The New York Times reports a grisly trial in Serbia has raised questions about connections between the country's top leadership and its violent drug gangs. And the Japan Times reports the Japanese government has launched a project to help municipalities and cultural facilities offer experience-based tourism programs as part of post-pandemic effort to attract foreign visitors to the country. In some more news, the Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has said that 5 more cheetahs, including 3 females and 2 males, will be released from the acclimatization camps into free-roaming conditions in the Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh before the onset of the monsoons in June this year. The ministry said that the decision was taken after a team of experts reviewed the current status of Project Cheetah on the directions of the National Tiger Conservation Authority. The cheetahs will be allowed to move out of the national park and will not necessarily be recaptured unless they venture into areas where they are in significant danger. It said their degree of isolation will be assessed once they settle down and appropriate action will be taken to enhance their connectivity to the group. The ministry added that a team of experts recently visited the Kuno National Park and reviewed the current status of Project Cheetah. And now, a quick look at the headlines once again. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says regulators must take appropriate and timely action to mitigate vulnerability and strengthen financial stability. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurates Indian Air Force Heritage Centre in Chandigarh. Says centre will motivate youth to imbibe values of armed forces. Delegates from different countries arrive in Goa for the 3rd Development Working Group meeting of G20. US President Joe Biden renews call for national assault weapons ban and other gun control measures. Low pressure area formed over Southeast Bay of Bengal and adjoining South Andaman Sea likely to intensify into a cyclone by Wednesday. Onto sports now. In weightlifting, Indian weightlifters finished Asian Weightlifting Championships 2023 in South Korea with 3 silver medals. And in IPL cricket, match underway between Kolkata Knight Riders and Punjab Kings in Kolkata. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from France.
Vaishnav Jana to tene kahiye de sid parayi jane para dukhe upakar kare to ye para dukhe upakar kare to ye mana abhimana na Vaishnav Jane tene kahiye de sid parayi jane re
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.